You're such an asshole.
We have an interesting question. If you have an interesting question, you can always go to assholeconsulting.com and send it to me along with your money because I'm a healer. Hello, prick. Military discount appreciated. I like a YouTube video of you expounding on something you said in a previous video, which has resonated with me. The topic was how a now successful guy was being shamed by his unsuccessful former high school peers and his unsuccessful mother. You rightly pointed out that he's not even in the equation and that those people saw their failures in him, not his successes. Well, they just saw his money too. I don't know how many clients I've had, young black men go off, do something with their life, and then the entire community thinks that they owe them something, and then call him a damn Uncle Tom because he's like, no, this is my money. No. You didn't go to school for this. I got shot at in Iraq. This is my money. Fuck off. I've noticed this happening often with people that would rather live a lie where they're unable to succeed because of external forces outside their control. That's only partially true, rather than their own poor decisions and sloth. How much for a video on this topic, examples of it from the past, how to recognize it in others, and how to be mindful of your own mindset to avoid getting stuck with it. Thanks. We'll keep you anonymous. Those are good. I'll revisit that. Well, out of curiosity, did you let these people know you succeeded? Like, did you tell your mom what you made or the neighbors what you were doing? It says, I'm referring to the situation the video requester was in. I actively hide my success because people don't attack or steal what they don't know about. Correct. You never let anyone know you got money. Never. Absolutely. If I was a billionaire, you guys wouldn't know it. I'd be like, hey, what's up, kids? Hey. Have encountered this behavior in peers who got wind of a portion of my success and react with derision attributed to, well, how are those your friends? Or peers, I guess. Okay. And accuse me of lying or cheating instead of just being happy for me. All right. Let's go back to the original. All right, let's talk philosophically or logically or in reality why people prefer lies and are envious of your success. I used to think, gravity was the most powerful force in the universe, and maybe it is on a physics level. And then argue, the male sex drive is pretty strong, but I think bigger than that, because it universally applies to everyone, is laziness. More specifically, the fear of work is the most powerful force in the world. And that's, you're going to be you're either SWAT or you're not. You're one of two things. You're either somebody that realizes, look, if I work hard, that's going to be less calories of energy. I'll just take the bull by the horns, get it over with, and not live this life of constant living in fear of work and labor. Or you succumb. Like, oh, anything but work. I mean, and I've seen it. Like, you take, for example, homeless people. Like, you have to try to be homeless in today's world with the technology and everything we got and all the government programs. But I've seen people that are so afraid of work, they would rather starve and live in squalor and shit in the streets. Juan, the Aztec patriarch, he takes pictures of basically inhumane humans. They're not inhumane, they're just inhuman. They're just, and they're sleeping on the street. One gal was pissing off out of her wheelchair, literally urinating off her wheelchair, shooting it way out. Human feces around. Laziness, I would say, is not only the most powerful force, but the most universal. It's whether or not, and everyone's lazy. Everyone, doesn't matter. It's whether you're smart enough or not to realize, like, okay, I can try to avoid work, which is unavoidable, and have a horrific life, or I could just suffer, get strong, build up a work ethic, which basically is a resilience to labor and toil, and then make some kind of happiness or success out of it. Maybe you even excel. Maybe you become an entrepreneur. Maybe you become very rich. But most people fear, more than anything else, a life of work and toil. They were born. They didn't ask to be born. They don't want to work. And so, it's also a survival strategy. You don't want to waste your calories of energy back in the olden days. But now you have generations of people who they don't want to work. And it's not that they don't want to work. It's that their fear overrides them from doing the right thing, which is in their best interest, and that's getting a job and getting off their ass. So when you combine this, so that's one part. Now we got to go to the lie. So in the olden days, if you didn't work, you'd starve, and there wasn't things like obesity and government welfare programs and things like that. In other words, you were not allowed to be too lazy unless you were particularly rich or came from an elite class or something like that. Those who didn't work didn't eat. And so starvation and cold and hunger would prompt you to get a work ethic, and you know, working in the coal mines and, you know, working on the railroads. They weren't exact, you know, farming way back in the olden days. Well, now it's not the olden days anymore. And not only do we have technology making things a lot easier, but we do have essentially a quasi-socialist welfare program that allows people to not work if they don't want to. But now throw this in, starting in even the 70s, I'd say, maybe even the 60s, but certainly the 80s and 90s, and especially now with the internet, people have had a ton of media, especially Americans, but maybe it's not so much in Europe, but especially Americans, where you're brave and great and amazing. You're going to do amazing things. Oh, the places you will go, and any degree is a good degree, and you're all so smart, even though 2/3 of you go to college, which means that's not that smart or unique anymore. It's pretty common, and you can all major in stupid shit. And so if you consider the literal decades, I don't want to call it brainwashing, but propaganda maybe, where you've told people you're brave and great and amazing and you're going to do amazing, wonderful, and that work is beneath you. People's egos and psychologies have been conditioned that they are not going to accept anything less than excellence and greatness in their life. All right, here's the irony or the paradox. What if you're a lazy, no good fuck and you're just simply lacking the work ethic to ever achieve greatness? What if you're not lucky to be born into wealth like Ocasio-Cortez or Nancy Pelosi or what's the one at Facebook, the CEO over there, whatever, she was born to rich parents. What if you don't have that? So now you got two big forces competing against one another, running headlong. One is your laziness. You're never going to get off your ass because you're so cripplingly afraid of actually doing real work. Then you have ego. Your finiteness, you could even say, feels it's like, I'm going to die, but I have to do something great. No, I'm great and amazing. All these empowering bullshit female songs like Nicki Minaj. Oh, Christ, just walk off a cliff, man. I mean, all these strong, empowering songs. All right. You know what? Just get out. Fine. This song, so you ever date a girl like, I love this song. It so reflects me. It's like, yeah, but you sit on your ass, man. You don't do anything. And so this is where the lies come in. And this is perhaps the most frustrating, infuriating thing I hate about humans is the hypocrisy that then results. Because they're losers. They haven't done anything, but then they got this attitude like there's some kind of great and amazing thing. And this is then where they solve this, where politicians and marketers and everyone solve it, is through a thing called lies. See, you're not a degenerate piece of shit that had 4 kids you couldn't afford. No, you're oppressed because of the white man, the Jews, the Mexicans, whatever. You're not a moron who majored in sociology and went $200,000 into debt going to Middlebury University for a completely worthless degree. No, you are oppressed by the patriarchy. And you're not this stupid single mom slut that had more kids than you could afford. No, you're a strong, independent woman. And these people will throw their fucking money at that shit. And this is where Operation Evil comes in. All Operation Evil is telling the lies that the people are so addicted to. Oprah's been doing it for many more decades than I've even begun to start. The Democrat Party has been lying to predominantly minorities and women horrifically, telling me it's not their fault, protect their ego, and they're oh, no, don't worry. Oh, God, no, don't do that. Don't major in engineering, girls who won't want to close the wage gap. And anyone who comes along and sells them these lies makes a lot of money. Or they get elected. Or the teachers years. You get the brave double. That's all teachers ever were. Past 30 years. I am. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. I'm a brave, amazing person. As long as they get their government check and 3 months off, teachers will lie right to your face. Same thing with your professors. And they make a mint off of see, these people don't really work. That's the thing. It's like, well, they're lazy. Yeah, but they signed up for student loan debt. You can still make money off of them. They'll go into debt. An equal criticism could be less frequently now because I guess, no one's getting their driver's license anymore. No guy knows how to drive standard. But, it used to be the big sucker move for men was you go buy a sports car because you thought that would get the girls. And so now that's where lies come from. And I've called it the last and final luxury good because it is. You cannot get a higher luxury product than something that basically allows you to live in the matrix, which you can't really plug yourself into, but we've done our best to create a real world matrix so that people never had to work or worry, have their egos protected. So you're basically a parasitic piece of shit. You can even be a criminal. And, but we love you and you're amazing and brave. Vote for me or buy my Nike shoes. Colin Kaepernick Dickless. There's a perfect example. Are you a loser like me? Hey, and I know you got no money, but why don't you drop $120 on these shoes you don't need? Because Nike is down with the cause, yo. As long as you pay $120. And Oprah, oh my God. I don't think anyone's raped more women than Oprah. I mean, holy shit. Holy cow, what a worthless, she's not vile or I don't think she was consciously doing it. I just think the message, just like keeping the lies up. Big is beautiful. Target. Hello, Target? With the plus size mannequins? Okay. So this is where the lies come from. This is why it's the last and final luxury good, because people will pay for it. And there's nothing else you could pamper somebody more with than lies, telling them they're great people when they're actually worthless, parasitic pieces of shit. So that's how we've come here. Now, the economy genuinely collapses and there's no food. We're all going to get a rude awakening very quickly. Or the Chinese invade, which I don't think they will. They'll be like, we don't want that crap. If you guys will collapse on your own, we don't have to lift a finger. Why would we send our soldiers over there? Hey, Taiwan, how you doing? So that's how it happened. But now let's go through it. This is happening with other people that would rather live a lie because they're unable to succeed because of external forces rather than their own poor decisions and sloth. Right. And they're going to continue to stay plugged into that matrix because that's all they got in life. And so if you're trying to, like me, you get infuriated trying to dislodge them and slap them across the face with reality and they ignore you, well, there's your answer. They're addicted to it because they have nothing else in life. Otherwise, the other option was to go and work. But like I said, fear of labor and toil is the most powerful force in the universe. How much for a video on this topic? Examples of it from your past. I have thankfully had good family and good friends who were always happy for me when I succeeded. Now, success was very rare, so it wasn't like there was a lot to be jealous of. But I've had nothing. I've screened out, bad people from my life, and I haven't seen this jealousy. Maybe it existed back when I was in middle school and high school, where they weren't even big. They're just bigger than me because they're cowards, and they were the losers. Because it was pretty clear I was pretty smart, and I'd probably go on to better things, which didn't end up happening. So they'd want to get in fights or beat me up. And it's always great when someone got an extra 30% on you, or there's multiple guys and then they want to fight. Oh gosh, I should find those people. Maybe I saw that a little bit, but my success had not materialized yet. Little did I know I was in for a world of hurt too. And there was going to be no success, frankly, until the internet came along. What's this thing? Podcast? What? They'll just give me money? Yeah. So I thankfully, aside from that, I haven't really seen anybody get. There was one guy, this bald fat fuck in the ballroom dance scene. I was 24, 25 at the time. I was putting together my online classes. He says, "You'll never amount to anything. Why would you be teaching those classes?" Da, 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 da. And I looked down, I'm like, what the fuck? Why would you say that? This is like back then he was probably 45. Why would you say that to a 24-year-old kid who's like, yeah, I'm doing finance classes. I'm putting me on, like, you don't know anything. You're a fucking idiot. You should be teaching. Well, then I ended up making a fair amount of money on those classes. I said, hey, buddy, past 10 years, I've made over $250,000 on that shit. What do you think about that? I don't know ever what happened to him. But I have not seen, aside from these rare incidents, I have not seen any toxic people saying, oh, I'm jealous. I've never seen it. Everyone's been very kind and friendly towards me and happy for my success when it has happened. How to recognize it in others. You'll find out real quick because they'll be entitled. See, now if you don't tell anyone, no one's going to know. And then you could just hang out with these people. Not that you'd want to anyway, but like you normally have to, you're part of a community. And you don't get to always hang out with the people that you'd like. But as long as you keep it on the down low and not mention that you're successful or that you got money, these people will not be a problem. How do you recognize it in others is it's very simple. Like, are they happy for you? Or did they come up with an excuse as to why you benefited unfairly? That would be how you recognize it. Or rank entitlement. Well, you're going to spread the wealth, man. Shut up, you socialist piece of parasitic fuck. Get the fuck out of here. I'm the one that busted my ass off. I'm the one that got the athletes. I look at black athletes in particular. They bust their asses off. Every athlete does, and then they go and they get drafted, and then all of a sudden everyone expects them to pay for shit. It's like, he's the one that was lifting the weights and dieting and running and putting his body through incredible amounts of physical torture. He's the one that worked hard for it. He gets the money. Screw you. So I haven't had it that way, like, oh, you got to spread the wealth. But then again, I didn't have wealth for the longest period of time. And then two, I've purged everyone who would be a dickhead like that. But anytime someone is jealous of you, instead of celebrating your success and happiness, like, we always talk about Rich Cooper. He wrote this book, The Unplugged Alpha. It's 5 times as successful as my book, which is a better book, by the way, The Book of Numbers. It's 5 times more successful than mine. He sold out 5 times more than my book. And you know what? Good for him. Good for Rich. Good for everyone who reads it. It's a great book, by the way. Not as good as my book, of course. But of course, my book, The Book of Numbers, Analyzing the ROI of the Pursuit of Women, should totally be outselling this book if there was any justice in the world. But I am happy for Rich. I'm happy for Rollo. I'm happy for Ryan. It's like, God, I hope you guys make a lot of money. And that's the difference between, people you want in your life and people you don't want in your life. Because you want people want you to be happy and successful. And not like, oh, by the way, I'm entitled to that. And so, that would be the first thing is jealousy. The second thing would be an excuse like, oh, you got it. And the third thing, like, when you're going to share the wealth, when they actually ask for it or imply, that's how you identify it and you get those people out of your life. But you seem smart enough to know that you don't tell anyone that you make any money. That's the other thing. How to be mindful of your own mindset to avoid getting stuck in it. I really do believe it's one of I wouldn't worry about you. It sounds like you've got a work ethic because you make a choice when you're younger, man. Am I going to work hard and do the right thing? I'm going to be a lazy fuck that mails it in and hopefully I get by. And that decision depends on the individual, I guess, but maybe that was like when you were 13 or 14 or something. For me, it was when I was 12. I'm like, I am sick. I'm not, frankly, I'm not going to be poor like my parents. I'm going to get the fuck out of this shit. And, you make a very adult choice at a very young age. And then when you decide to work, you work. So I don't think that mindset, I don't think you're going to get stuck in it. Because you've made that choice before. It's a principle. It's a policy you follow. So But I wouldn't worry about it. And then just avoid people like it. They'll drag you down. I don't know. I mean, if you made the moral decision to actually support yourself and not live off of other people, I don't think external forces can like convince you to do it otherwise, because you must have a good ethical code to follow that. But just don't hang out with those people. It won't happen to you. All right. Any super chats? Whoa, $20 super chat. Jim Rye for $20. Hi, Cap. Thanks for trying to save the next generation from themselves. Curse of the High IQ should be required reading for all the gifted classrooms, assuming those still exist in today's participation trophy culture. Yeah, is gifted and talented a thing anymore? And I'll be perfectly honest, gifted and talented usually went to the kids who just obeyed. They weren't necessarily the smartest. They're just the most obedient. Because I remember they said, oh, you should look at gifted in or math. Math off. They had me do math off. Like, oh, you're really good at math. You should go into math. Math off. Math competition. I was like, yeah, but thank you. If all students read my book, Curse of the High IQ, I'd be a millionaire, multimillionaire. It'd be great. And none of you would know because I wouldn't tell any of you. All right, there we go. Questions, answers, assholeconsulting.com. We'll see you guys later. Toodles.